Right, hello there everyone, welcome back to James Redmond TV. I know I pride myself on trying to be positive and trying to not be a whinge bag when it comes to poor refereeing decisions. I think it's very fair to say that we know the refereeing standard's bad, and that's what I want to talk about in this video, in a sense of, I'm not going to try and, make it a Liverpool thing. I don't necessarily know if it's a Liverpool thing. I think there's been a lot of decisions which imply that Liverpool have been on the wrong end of the stick a lot of times this season. However, I do also, take into consideration we're not the only team this happens to, but yesterday felt different, and this video is because I want to give my sincere thoughts on everything, and I encourage anybody with a platform, somewhat big or small, to do the same, because this isn't something that should just get swept under the rug. We know there's bad refereeing decisions that get talked about, but I said it on the 30th minute of my stream, something just doesn't feel quite right about that. Something just feels so off and so internally distasteful and weird that I can't really sit well with that. And that's all I was thinking, chat. I was thinking, I'm like, if you watch my live streams, because I didn't even want to do a match reaction. I just wanted to do the watch along and the match reaction in one. So if you want to go and check that out, watch the watch along. It's the previous video or stream on my channel. Reason why I encourage you to watch it is because when you watch it, you'll notice before the game, I'm up for it, I'm there trying to call expressions, I'm there having a laugh, and then the game was a bit nullified. It weren't like high action packed in the opening minutes, but it was a nice flowing game, a nice tactical battle between good managers. And this is the thing, Tottenham did a lot of things well, and if I'm a Tottenham fan, I'm encouraged by a lot of things I saw yesterday, especially in the first half when it came to nullifying Liverpool's attacks. But then it gets to that first disallowed goal, and chat, if you watch my live stream, you'll know from first minute I knew that was onside. It wasn't biased. I'm quite good at analysing the offside and thing. I think it's helpful when the pitches are designed well enough to see if it's offside or not. You've got the dark patch of the pitch and then the light green, so dark green, light green, and it's that pattern throughout the entire pitch. And you could easily tell, if you look at those lines, who was closer to the light green part of the pitch, Diaz or Van de Ven. And you could clearly tell Van de Ven's lanky legs was closer to the light green part of the pitch. It didn't take a genius. And did you hear me then? Nearly choked on these words that I'm saying. But seriously though, chat, like, I just can't believe that was the conclusion and it wasn't looked into further. But then you got other decisions throughout the game which were looked into that was nowhere near as huge as that moment. And there's not just the referee, there's not just the sideline officials, you've also got 3 people in the VAR rooms coming to a conclusion saying that is offside. And then what? An apology saying, oh, by the way, that was a thing. Like, that is ridiculous, and you've got to call it out, because seriously, even the red card, I understand the red card can be given a red card because of where the foot ended up, but like, I haven't played a lot of football in my time. I played a lot when I was younger. Anybody with any basic football and, not even expertise, just experience, you'll know that happens sometimes. The way you get the ball, you go in for the tackle, that's what you're encouraged to do, go in for tackles, and then next thing you know, your ball rolls over the foot. The ball, my foot rolls over the ball so often, especially nowadays because I'm worse at football, but when I was younger it happened all the time as well. And it's because you're going up against other people who are putting just as much power into that tackle as you are, and sometimes one of your feet are going to go over. It's just normal friggin' physics. I don't know why it was such a friggin' issue, but instead let's show the referee a still image instead of a perfectly fine, normal paced video. And let's see if that supports the perception that he had originally, which was that weren't a bad tackle. But you show him the worst part of an image where Curtis Jones's ankle or foot is implemented into his ankle, which, yes, isn't good, and yes, it's unfortunate, but it's certainly not a red card. Like, if you want to give it a yellow because of where the foot ended up, fine. But again, like, what's football become now? But that's not even my biggest gripe. The Jota tackle. Now, Jota actually got away with a foul early in the game, and I think the referee was maybe trying to allow him to get away with it. And then he got the first yellow card. I think Jota deserved his red card, to be honest with you. I thought the first challenge was not a yellow at all, that he got given a yellow for. But then I do think the final conclusion on a red card was right, because he was on a yellow card. He was aware he was on a yellow card. He still made a stupid challenge. So I think Jota should still not hang his head in shame, but still should really be thinking, like, I messed up for my team there. Otherwise, Curtis Jones card, don't understand. Onside goal, don't understand. And I'm getting Tottenham fans saying to me, And none, this isn't expressions. This is like people messaging me and stuff like that. Like just people saying to me, "Oh James, if you scored, the game would have went differently." Blah 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 blah. But let's get the fair premise. The facts are we put the ball in the back of the net twice. So did Tottenham. The facts are that we put it in the back of the net twice. It might have not ended up being the same game. That's not the point or the principle. The point is that is a decision that is so, or it's got to be so worrying to any fan. That could be your team next week. This is the same Premier League referees officiating. And let's say, and I'm not saying this, but let's say the agenda is against Liverpool, which this season Liverpool fans have a right to believe it could be. But it's not. It's just poor refereeing. Yesterday seemed fishy. And this is me implying corruption. This is me implying that there's something beyond what we're seeing, because that game yesterday, I don't know why it was corrupt or anything, but I just believe it was a corrupt game of football. I don't know what any hope of the Premier League not being fixed before. And I'm not saying the players were all in on it. I'm just saying where a referee can influence decisions one way or another way. That felt like one of those games. It felt like one of those games, and we've seen case studies in the past of referees coming out and talking about being influenced, and there's probably times where they've signed things like NDAs to nullify any information about previous match fixing in the Premier League. I think if you just use your senses that God gave you, which is your eyes, your ears, you can easily see and hear that this is something that's not quite right. And if you speak about it, you notice the words that are coming out imply something is wrong here. And that was something that was wrong about yesterday. This is not a thing on Tottenham. Tottenham done what they needed to do. It was quite astonishing how much they struggled against 9 men, to be honest with you. But I do appreciate the shamelessness, as I would be as well. However, the refereeing is a disgrace. And how you know this was a bad thing, because it's not just Liverpool fans coming out on Twitter. Sky Sports supported this by admitting that they never received the lines, which is also very, very sceptical. And then also you think about all the fans. I've seen Trey United. Do you know Trey United, one of the most shameless United fans? He came out and spoke about it. Mark Goldbridge, all these guys have came out, they've spoke about the fact that was clearly weird, not right, not the right decision, and it's beyond just bad decision making. There's something not right there. 5 to 6 Liverpool players have came out. Liverpool are reported to be receiving a £25,000 fine for using their free speech. And that's exactly what's the problem here. We can't speak about this. I can. I'm not going to get fined by the FA. They can fuck themselves. But Liverpool and the players, they will get fined for this. Or they'll get quietened down somehow. They'll get shunned out. And that's a problem for me. Because you've got to put a light on this poor refereeing thing. The referee, I can't remember his name and I don't care. But he was supposed to be managing a game this weekend. Or it might have been today or next weekend. He's now no longer refereeing that game. What needs to happen? People are talking about losing jobs. I think if there's any implication of corruption, which there absolutely should be, and if there's something on that level where there's something gone wrong, I've heard rumours that the guy went to the toilet in the VAR room. Are you high? Why? Like, that might not be true, but if it is true, that's wild. So, listen, that's a high quality position to be in, and if the players can't go to the toilet during their playtime, you can't go to the toilet either. We're not all Gary Lineker, you know what I mean? Or do a Gary Lineker shit on the pitch, you know what I mean? Don't be friggin' going away. Anyway, let me know what you think about it. But nah, the message of this video isn't to go at Spurs. It's not to go at anything else other than the officiating of this league. I do believe the Premier League is, you know... I would be dishonest if I just sat here and said the Premier League doesn't feel rigged now. It feels rigged. And it seems like it's their own little joke, you know what I mean? Because it's... but I'm proud of the players. The players done well yesterday, and the fact that we stayed together, we shown, you know, a good performance. I was just upset about everything. So on the stream, I was just saying, "Oh, this is crap. We're playing crap. We're just conceding chances." Because I wanted to forget about the poor officiating. But it was only after the game where I reflected upon the game and thought, you know what, we played really well, and I'm actually really proud of a lot of players who I thought didn't have a great game. Because for certain, I knew that Van Dijk and Matip had a great game. The goalkeeper, Alisson, oh my goodness. Don't even need to talk about how much of a good game he had, but he had a great game. And then the midfield was fine. The attack, while we had it, was fine. And we were down to 10 men for a large portion of the game as well, which was great, because Tottenham are a good team, and we held our own there, and it weren't even them who scored against us, it was us who scored against ourselves, and we were under so much pressure. There was no fault on Matip whatsoever. He put his body in the way, like the way he had been all game. proper warrior performance, something like that can happen at times. So I'm proud of Matip. All the boys have came out on Instagram, they've been speaking about it. And weirdly enough, the positive to take out of this is that I feel like it's brought our club closer together. I feel like that's pissed us off a little bit, so I'm hoping we use that anger in the near games and, really put in some boss performances and, put it out of sight, because now that we know the league, at least in recent time, has been showing funny signs against us. Because listen, like, say if that is true and it's an agenda against Liverpool, who's to say it won't be your team next year? You know what I mean? Now, I don't know if it's an agenda against Liverpool. I just think game by game, things happen. Deals are made and behind the scenes conversations are had. Maybe negotiations that we're never going to hear of. Maybe. It's not hard. It's not hard to do it through people. I'm just saying, chat, like, don't be too close-minded to the idea of this being, a corrupted thing, and this fixture having corrupted aspects. And call me a conspiracy theorist, but I've seen enough evidence and not proof. Evidence is not proof. Evidence is evidence. I've seen enough evidence to suggest that there's a possibility the Premier League can be corrupt. And I've also seen enough evidence just from that game yesterday to show that something wasn't quite right. Sky Sports proven that by simply not even receiving the lines, and then you get an apology after the game like it does something. Because you can't just give us, a point for the game. You can't just do a replay. That the game's concluded and final. That apology could not mean more for Hull. It's nice to know they somewhat took accountability, but I never saw an apology or anything like this. So yeah, let me know what you think in the comments down below. Do like and subscribe to James Redman TV. I'm going to do a video reacting to Expressions, who had a few comments on his match reaction to me. So that'll be one for later. And then tomorrow we're back to the normal routine of morning streams and night streams. I've missed night streams, so I'm going to start doing them again. Anyway, thank you for watching, and I'll see you all later. Peace.